Friends, let us try to find out the real reasons for the war between the Israelis and the Palestinians, between the Israelis and the Hamas. The tensions between the Israelis and the Palestinians, it existed much before the Israel's formation in 1948. Thousands of people on both sides have been killed and many more injured over decades. Violence has been particularly acute this year, so the number of Palestinian militants and the civilians killed in the occupied West Bank by Israeli forces since the beginning of this year, it is the highest in nearly 2 decades. And the same is true of Israelis and the foreigners, most of them being the civilians killed in the Palestinian attacks. See, Israel captured Gaza from Egypt in the 1967 war, then withdrew its troops and the settlers in 2005. The territory, home to some 2 million Palestinians, it fell under the Hamas control in 2007 after a brief civil war with a rival Palestinian faction. And after Hamas seized control, Israel and Egypt, they imposed a strict siege on the territory which is ongoing. Israel also maintains an air and naval blockade on Gaza. And coming to the history of Gaza, it's an open-air prison. More than half of its population lives in poverty and it's food insecure. See, the Hamas and Israel, they have fought several wars. And before the recent operation, the last war between the two was in 2021, which lasted for 11 days and killed at least some 250 to 300 people in Gaza and about 10 to 15 people in Israel. And the recent assault occurred almost 50 years after the 1973 war, when Israel's Arab neighbors launched a surprise attack on Israel on the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, that is on October 6, 1973. Then what is Hamas? Hamas, it's an Islamist organization with a military wing that came into being in 1987, emerging out of the Muslim Brotherhood, a Sunni Islamist group that was founded in the late 1920s in Egypt. The group, like most Palestinian factions and political parties, insists that Israel is an occupying power and that it is trying to liberate the Palestinian territories. So it considers Israel as an illegitimate state and it has called for its downfall. See, unlike some other Palestinian factions, Hamas refuses to engage with Israel. And in 1993, it opposed a peace pact between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization (PLO), and it established the Palestinian Authority in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. See, the Hamas have over the years claimed many attacks on Israel and has been designated as a terrorist organization by the United States, the European Union, and Israel. See, Israel accuses its arch enemy Iran of backing this group. Israel has now on a war footing and it has already started mobilizing the troops for a potential ground operation in Gaza. And it has said that it will extract a heavy price on Hamas for its attack and plans to retrieve the Israeli hostages from the territory. Israel has dealt with the hostage situations before also, but never at this scale. In the past, the militants have mostly demanded the release of the prisoners held in Israeli jails in exchange for the captured Israelis, and this happened in the years 2008 and 11. Hamas say it has taken captive 100 or more hostages, so their presence in Gaza will undoubtedly complicate any Israeli military operations there. See, the militant group's armed wings said recently that it would begin killing the civilian hostages and broadcasting the act if Israel targets the people in Gaza without warning. But Israel says when they came in and threw the grenades at our ambulances, they did not knock on the roof. This is what? The scale is different. And the senior Hamas member, he told that Hamas is ready for all options, including a war, a major war, and an escalation on all levels. They also say we are ready for the worst case scenario, including a ground invasion, which will be the best for us to decide the ending of this battle. See, the Hamas operation was carried out in a highly sophisticated and coordinated manner and would have certainly taken a significant amount of planning, perhaps receiving the assistance from the other countries also. Israel says the Iran supports the Hamas to the tune of some $100 million a year. The United States State Department in 2021 said that the group receives funding, weapons, and also the training from Iran, as well as some funds that are raised in the Gulf Arab countries. So it is too early to say whether Iran has directly involved in the attack, but that Washington will be tracking the matter very closely. It is understood that Iran is directly or indirectly supporting the Palestinian people and Hamas for their victory over Israel, although they deny it. Hamas and Iran, they are the long-time friends, the long-time allies. The United States has meanwhile sent a strike group to the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. US also is sending more fighter jets to the Middle East to curtail any Iranian potential aggression or an expansion of the fighting beyond Israel's borders. Israel may also face the threat of new fronts opening in the war of its immediate neighbors. It is only at peace at present with Jordan and Egypt, and is officially in a state of war only with Lebanon and Syria. Israel has said it is ready in case there are attacks from those two countries, namely the Jordan and Egypt also. The Lebanese militant group, it is in contact with the Palestinian militant groups at home and abroad, both, and the group claimed the responsibility for targeting three Israeli sites using the missiles and artillery. The area is considered by Lebanon as Israeli occupied. Israel responded by firing the artillery. And the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, said it killed a number of armed suspects who infiltrated into the Israel from Lebanon, and the soldiers were searching the area. So the Lebanese Prime Minister says that his country does not want to be drawn into the conflict. And of course, this has now become a highly complicated issue, and it is going beyond the Lebanese or the Palestinians and the Israel. It's certainly going to have its range much beyond these countries. So let us watch and see what shape it takes ultimately. Thank you.